In this video, I'm going to show you some tips for formatting tips for writing your papers. First, I want to talk about superscripts, subscripts, and scientific notation. They're easy to do, and so I just want to show you how to use Microsoft Excel to put them in your paper. First, let's talk about scientific notation. You might get a very low p-value if you run a t-test, something that might look like 3.4 e minus 5 in Microsoft Excel. And what that really means is 3 times 10 to the minus 5th. So this is how it should be written with the minus 5 as a superscript. The way you put the minus 5 as a superscript is on your home page in Excel. You want to go up into the font formatting area and just click on this X squared, and then that will give you a superscript. So this is the way that you should write scientific notation. Don't write it as this, even though that's the output that you're going to get in Excel. Okay, you can also very simply make subscripts like H2O. The 2 should be a subscript, so you click on the X sub 2, just like that. And if you have a bunch of things that you need to write as subscripts, you can use the format painter. So I have the 2 highlighted here, and it's subscripted. So if I click on the format painter, then I can paint over the 6 that I want to subscript. Click on the format painter again, and I can paint the 12 because I want that to subscript, and then one more time to get the 6. So it's very easy to do superscripts and subscripts, so you should do those correctly when you're writing your paper. Second, I want to show you how to use hanging indent, which you will need for your references section of your paper. This is a reference this is a full citation for the paper that we talked about in class about potato cultivars being exposed to heat stress. And notice the formatting is CSE with the last names of the authors and their initials, the initials only of their first names. And I've listed all of the authors' names, the year of publication, the title, only the first word in the title of the article is capitalized. If there were a scientific name in this title, you would capitalize the genus name and italicize it. This was an online paper that actually also appears in print. And so to show that I accessed it online, I have shown my access date here. And then I have the publication information, the volume name, and the page numbers, so that's how it would show up in the print version. And then this is the URL for how to find that paper. Now, each reference should be shown with the first line not indented and the next line's indented. And the way you do that is you go up to your ruler, and if you can't see the ruler, then go into your view and click on this ruler box. So you see it went away, and now I'm going to click it, and there it is again. And to set this up for hanging indent, I'm going to drag this bottom arrow over to about 1/2 inch, and then it is in hanging indent format. Now, if I want to do another citation, let's say it's a paper that I've written, and it's this year, and the title of the paper is Dijkstra's Super Awesome Insightful Paper about something scientific, and it's published in the greatest journal in the world. Okay, and so what you can see is that this automatically used hanging indent for my next citation. Of course, I would have to give the journal number and the pages, 1 to 10, whatever, and there you have it. Now, When you make your references, you want to alphabetize them by author's last name. So this first one should, or this one that I just did, should be alphabetically in front of the Tang et al. Paper, and so I can just drag it up like that. All right, so that's how you do hanging indent. Next thing I want to talk about is scientific names. A scientific name includes the genus and the species. The genus is always capitalized and the specific epithet is not capitalized. And both the genus and the species should be italicized. It's easy to do this. If you highlight it, you might get this box that pops up and you can just click on this I, or you can go into your home menu and click on the I there, or you can simply, again, highlight. This is the goldfish genus and species. You can highlight it and just do keystrokes. If you have a PC, it's Control I. If you have a Mac, it's Command I. Each of these species names is followed by the family name in which this species is classified. So mice are in the rodent family. Goldfish are in the Cyprinidae family. So that's how you do scientific names. The second time you use a scientific name in a paper, the first time you should write it out. The second time you use it, you can abbreviate the genus to just the first initial and a period, and then you write out the species name. So Cerotis is found in Aquaria everywhere. And again, I want to go back and I want to italicize this. Okay, so that's how you do scientific names. Next thing I want to talk about are abbreviations. The first time you use a term that you want to abbreviate, you should write out the entire term, say basal metabolic rate, and then you can, in parentheses, write the abbreviation that you plan to use. And then the second time you use it within your paper, you only have to use the abbreviation. So I could just say mouse BMR increases in cold temperatures, for example. Now, there are a lot of terms in biology that you do not need to write out. Everybody knows what DNA and RNA are, and so you don't have to write out the whole term. Another example is ANOVA. If you do an analysis of variance test, you can just call it ANOVA. The student's t-test that we use to analyze our fish data, you can abbreviate just as t-test. And notice that when you write this, the T should be italicized. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is how to put a running head on your paper so that you have this a shortened version of your title on each page of your paper and a page number. And the way you do this is you are going to insert a header. And I want to use a 3-column header because I want to put my running head in the middle column so that it's centered on the page. And I'm just going to call this Dijkstra's research paper. And I want to follow that up with the page number. So the way you can do that is you can go up here and click on page number, and you want it in the current position, and you just want it simple. And so this is on page 2 of my paper. And if I go down to the next, you can see that it automatically goes to page 3. Once you're done writing that in, you can close the header and you can see, oh, unfortunately, I'm seeing this type here. So you can go into this and get rid of that, go into this, get rid of that, and then only this middle one shows up. And so that shows up on each page. Okay, last thing we want to look